Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Storms, or StoRmsN. I'm one of the speedrunners for the Messenger, and yeah, I'm gladly joined here by Kirta, who will do on-site commentary with me, and also Halfling Helper joining remotely.
Hello.
Cool, and I would say we directly kick it off because the game will be long anyway, and we can talk about the game while playing it. So yeah, I will count down and then you can press the button. So 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, Halfling, could you explain for the people out there what they can expect and what this game is about while we are playing through the worst stage of the game called Ninja Village?
Yeah, sure. So The Messenger is a game where you play as this ninja character and you have to deliver a scroll to the top of the mountain. And then in the second half of the game, it really opens up and becomes more of a Metroidvania style where you have to go back and forth between levels and collect a bunch of key items to be able to beat the game. So since this is 100%, we'll be doing all of that and more, collecting 45 power seals, and some other items that normally we get to skip in any percent that we still have to get for the percentage points.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, lore-wise, so as you can see, our Ninja Village got attacked by the Demon King that you can see now on your screen. Of course, like in every good story, the Western hero or some hero is coming up and yeah, save the day, to be honest. And yeah, this hero will give us the scroll, and as the messenger, or now called the messenger, we need to get, like Halfling was mentioning, the scroll up to the top of the mountain. And yeah, also beginning now with the second stage coming up, Autumn Hills, it already gets pretty tough, to be honest. But I will kind of talk less now because I need to concentrate in the early game pretty much, and I will leave it to Halfling and Kirta for a bit more commentary during the first couple stages.
Yeah, so I mean, like Storm said, this first real stage here, Autumn Hills, is super difficult, affectionately known as Reset Hills because lots of runs come here to die. The main thing you'll see is what Storms just did. That's called a turtle boost. Normally, we get hit when we slash an enemy and it doesn't die. We get a little bit of velocity opposite the direction we slash, right? So if we turn around to do it, then it helps push us in the direction we want to go. So each one of those saves maybe a fifth of the second, but they really do add up over the course of a run, especially when it's this long. And Autumn Hills has lots of those. You'll see Storms went over to the right wall there also to get shards. That's because we want to have 40 in the shop to buy our first upgrade. We will have to buy all of these over the course of the run. This one's super important because it lets us slash enemy projectiles like the fireballs that you've been seeing, which makes movement a lot more easy and a lot faster because it lets us take some routes we wouldn't be able to take otherwise. Coming up in this room is the first strategic damage boost. Not that one. Here, Storms is going to be timing a somewhat precise jump to be able to get boosted right on those spikes. The spikes actually will boost you different directions depending on what number save you have loaded, or sorry, like how many saves you've loaded so far. So we make sure to always run on like the first save file after we boot up the game, so that the spikes boost us consistently, which just helps lower resets.
Yeah, we'll go for a bit more safety than usual. So normally 8-bit, so this kind of part of the game is called 8-bit. And normally it's pretty risky, but due to the marathon and due to the length of that one, we'll do a bit more safety, you could say. So we'll go for a bit more safer strats, but it's still pretty hard.
Yeah, one of the nice things about 100% is that you don't have to be executing the hardest strats all the time. It's really more about your consistency for playing over like a 2.5 hour time period. So even though there are like some super tight and crazy strats we're gonna see, it's definitely not as input dense as something like 8-bit, which is a 30-minute category, which is part of why I enjoy Hundo. It's also just a really cool run.
And yeah, shoutouts to the music. So Rainbow Dragon Eyes really did an amazing job as the composer of this game. So the music is just awesome.
Yeah, the soundtrack album
and if you
is
listen,
nuts. Oh, sorry.
And if you listen, it muffles when you go underwater. These are some tight rooms to close off the end of Autumn Hills. Storm's doing a really nice job.
Yeah, I think in 8-bit I already reset a couple of times, but for 100% this is totally fine. And yeah, Halfling, could you maybe explain, I don't know if we already explained that, what is 100% in the Messenger?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of said we have to get all the items.
Sorry,
that's how 100% goes. So that entails the 45 power seals.
Oh yeah,
the 6 music notes, which you need.
Kind of brain lag. You already explained that.
You're good, you're good. You have to play the video game.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, getting that one cycle isn't normally that hard. So we buy the shurikens to one cycle the first boss of the first stage. But yeah, sometimes you can miss it, and if you miss the one cycle, you're missing out on kind of 15 seconds. 15 to 20 seconds. So this is Forlorn Temple, and this was Forlorn Temple. We will see later more of that stage, but in the early game it's just kind of like an cutscene, you could say. So coming up now is Catacombs. Catacombs is one of the most cycle-based stages in the early game. Halfling, can you maybe explain what we will see, especially with the cutscene skip that we want to attempt coming up?
Yeah, so like Storm said, Catacombs is super cycle-based, which means there's lots of hard strats to be able to make the tightest possible cycle. That spooky guy we just saw there is called Ruxton. He's going to be the boss of the stage. And normally we'd actually see him a second time, and he...
Did we lose Halfling? Yeah, so I will continue. So first off, we are grabbing now the first seal of the game, and I'm just hoping Halfling will be back shortly. So like Halfling was saying, the spooky guy we saw was Ruxton, the boss of the stage. And we will attempt soon a so-called cutscene skip, or we try to attempt a cutscene skip called Bedonk. For that, we need to grab a cloud step into the next room and do a precise jump towards a platform. And if we can land it, we skip a cutscene of 8 seconds. But it's pretty easy to miss that because you only have, I think, a 3-frame window to hit that. It's coming up shortly, so...
Yeah, it's very fine.
Again, like Bedonk's one of those things.
Oh, Halfling is back.
Oh, I made it back, yeah.
Damn. Didn't want to touch that skeleton. Yeah, here we are doing a damage boost because we are getting health in the next couple of rooms, so this is kind of free time save we can take. And yeah, now we're kind of getting close to the Bedonk skip. So
it's actually faster to go out of the way there to pick up that health, because we get to do another damage boost later.
Let's see.
So you see Storms is pulling this green kappa towards him to be able to carry the cloud step. That was very well done. So yeah, normally Ruxton would spawn in there and spawn 3 of these wizard guys, but we got to skip that. But actually, when we come back, the cutscene box is going to still be there, so we'll have to be a little bit careful not to trigger it then.
Yeah, later in the game we will revisit a lot of these stages, and like Halfling was already mentioning, we can still trigger that cutscene. And if we are unlucky, that can soft lock the game, so I need to be careful when we're going back there.
Yeah, not too much left in Catacombs. You'll see this. Yeah, that's another one of those very tight cycles where you have to be really clean with your movement to not get killed by that crusher at the end there.
Yeah. But I mean, we got the donk. I'm happy with the Catacombs. So, and now we will see one of the worst bosses in the game, because Ruxton can spawn high or low, and it's completely RNG if he spawns top or bottom. But we will lose 8 seconds if Ruxton decides to spawn bottom-wise. But Ruxton wants to see a good one. That's nice.
Nice.
And yeah, like I was mentioning, if Ruxton decides to spawn on the bottom platform, we will lose 8 seconds. So this is already a heavy reset point early in the run. Hey, Bamboo Creek. I will try to do the honor of the bamboo song for the messenger community, so please hold on a second. I like Chinese food is good for you. I like to eat Chinese food, and Chinese food is yummy too. If you like me too, you will bring me Chinese food, because it is so yummy that I mention I like Chinese food.
Moving rendition.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so this is the only stage that has lyrics for the background music, and don't ask me why it's Chinese food. I think Rainbow Dragon Eyes just lost Chinese food, and yeah, we just deal with it and sing it at the beginning of Bamboo.
Bamboo Creek's a really fun stage. It's not too long, and there's lots of cool movement in it. You'll see coming up here one of the most infamous rooms in the game, BC11.
I will grab the health here, not to die.
Yeah. This room's also claimed many lives. The spikes are pretty dangerous, since they do 3 damage and we only have 5 health. But yeah, like I was saying, this is BC11. This room has so many strats. Storms is going for the hardest one, which is called B2, and that was very, very clean. Basically trying to cloud step as fast as possible up there and getting a 1-tile jump on the wall there. Normally you have to have two tiles height of wall to be able to grab onto the wall, but sometimes, depending on having precise positioning and timing, you can jump off only a 1-tile high wall. So.
Nice. Yeah, like we were mentioning, we need to grab the seals. So in 8-bit, we don't grab as many seals as later in the game, because of timing and the pathing. But that is one of the seals we need to grab, and you can die there pretty quickly because of the hitboxes and how tight some of these cycles are.
We're also going out of our way a little bit to get those big time crystals that drop tons of time shards, because at some point in the run we're going to have a 6-minute long split, longer than that, of us just reloading the game over and over again to get those time shards.
Yeah.
So any little bit we can do to reduce that.
I think we lost Halfling again. So coming up now is Holding Grotto. In Holding Grotto, we will get the so-called wingsuit, so we can glide now, and on top of that we are buying upgrades for a so-called wingsuit slash, so we can slash doing gliding movement. And the game is getting now, with Holding Grotto, a lot more vertical, so we get more vertical rooms, and movement is getting a bit more than we already did, so Besides that, Grotto has a very beautiful soundtrack, so it really slaps. And yeah, just a kind of tight stage, to be honest. So there's not as much going on as compared to Catacombs and Bamboo Creek. But we have a few tight rooms coming up now, or coming up soon, is the so-called DK skip. So we are calling that DK skip because the room is kind of like the old Donkey Kong games where a boulder gets thrown at you. And I try to go here now for a really tight damage boost to be able to skip that saw, and we did that. Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. That movement's much harder than it looks.
And yeah, besides that, like I was already mentioning, a lot of new vertical movement is introduced into the game. And the game wants to, yeah, slowly but surely squeeze you into the kind of full move set that we will unlock during the next stages. And if you already think that this kind of is looking fast, yeah, just wait. The game is getting a lot faster in a couple of stages. Yeah, and holding Grotto itself, we are not doing anything besides playing the stage for 100%. We will revisit a lot of the stages later with more health to grab the seals and also to make the pathing a bit more optimal. And yeah, with that, we are through Holding Grotto, coming up now to the Emerald Golem. And the Emerald Golem, the boss fight, is pretty hard for speedrunners because we need to count. So we need to slash the green core in the middle, we need to slash that 7 times. And we want to do the last slash or with a shuriken, so the 8th hit we want to do with a shuriken. So we need to count to get this upstream early and also damage yeah, the head of the Emerald Golem. Yeah, we'll wait out here, a bit more safety. And we need to do this twice to trigger the second phase of the Emerald, and we got that, nice. And the second phase of the Emerald Golem is totally RNG in which direction the green ball will move. But since we have so much health, we just want to go for a quick kill. And depending on the RNG, you want to get as low as possible. And if you can't get that, unfortunately, you will lose a couple of seconds. But if you can get a fast kill instead of a low drop, it kind of evens out. But yeah, you want... The most optimal one is as low as possible and as fast as possible. So, and coming up now is Marsh. One of the, yeah, I would say hardest stages in the early game and also in casual gameplay. So the game introduces now a lot more spiky enemies. We will have this quicksand, as you can see, or in the messenger community we also call it peanut butter because it kind of looks like peanut butter. And yeah, first of all we need to get through here to get an item that you only get in 100%, and that's called the magic seashell. And with the magic... Oh god, yeah, touch with spikes, unfortunately. With the magic seashell, we are able to see a certain path later in the game. And since this is 100%, we need to collect it to, yeah, kind of fulfill the category. And yeah, on top of that, we will also get now this, the next seal here.
Did we talk about what the seals are actually for?
Yeah, so like Halfling was mentioning, we need to collect 45 of these seals. And after we collected every seal, we can unlock the so-called windmill shuriken. The windmill shuriken, we will see that later in the one, is kind of like a boomerang shuriken that comes back to you, and you also get cloud steps if you use it.
Yeah, it's very strong.
And yeah, we don't make so much use of it in 100%, but if you run categories like NG+, the windmill is heavily used there. Because you get free cloud steps, and this enables even more crazy movement. Is Halfling still there? I don't know if we lost him again.
I should be here. You can hear me, right?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
So coming up next is again a seal that we need to grab, and we need to do a bit of a risky damage boost. So after these next couple of rooms, let's see if I can get it. Besides that, right now I'm just doing tight movement across these rooms here, or as tight as possible. Damn, didn't want to touch the bird. Yeah, this was the bully room. You can get through the room with one damage only. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get it. But we got the damage boost. So, and yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of spikes in the seal room. So doing these early on is pretty risky. And if we die here, would be pretty bad. But now we are taking an intentional death, because getting through the spikes again on the way back, I would say in 90% of the times you die there anyway, so... and especially in a marathon run, it's then just safer and faster to just die. And this is Quabble, so... Quabble is this little demon following me now, and Quabble is collecting money for, kinda... giving us the power of life again. But this is also bad, because we need that money dramatically, so we want to reduce the time with Quabble as much as possible. And maybe Halfling, can you speak about the Queen of Quills coming up now?
Yeah, so the Queen of Quills is a super interesting and super difficult boss fight. She's basically going to jump up to these sets of rings, and, casually you're supposed to sort of wait for her, and she does her attacks from up there. But we can use her to cloud step up there and just knock her down with our shurikens and kill her before she even gets a chance to really do anything. Damage boosting through that windmill tornado attack as well, just to get all the damage in that we need to kill her really quickly. That was a really nice fight.
Yeah, and the Queen of Quills normally is one of the, I would say, one of the hardest bosses in this game. So the bosses themselves are not that hard, but yeah, Queen is really tough. So coming up now,
the best stage.
Yeah, just wanted to say the worst stage of the game, followed by Ninja Village. So we will get the rope dart now. So the movement itself will be a lot faster than you used to be. So putting your seatbelts on for rope dart movement, or hook shot, but it's called rope dart in this game. So Halfling,
could you bread and butter?
Could you explain how we use the rope dart now?
Yeah, so you might be able to guess, but our mantra is rope dart everything. Basically, as much as we can, we want to use that rope dart to pull ourselves forward in the stage. So lanterns, walls, everything. It's a super versatile tool. We even use it to help us climb up walls. You'll see it a little bit here. Basically reattaching to the wall even faster so that we can get our next wall jump again and just climbing walls really fast. Yeah, it's a super cool upgrade. We use it a ton. We're also using it for this, which looks a little strange. It's a trick called a leash, and we store the enemy, we rope dart the enemy and then take damage. which lets us take the enemy between screens because it remains stored in our rope dart, basically. And that lets us trigger this cutscene that we're not supposed to be seeing at this point in the game. Normally we're here in 16-bit and you'll see us collect a music note. So being able to do that skips a whole section where you have to collect an item and bring it to these characters, and there's a long cutscene where they throw you over there and you have to complete a few rooms. So that's sort of the first big sequence break, thanks to Rope Dart and some of its interesting properties. So yeah, this is the last seal we're gonna get in Crags, and then we just have to play through the rest of the stage where we get to the boss.
Exactly.
Before that happens, would we have a time for a quick donation?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Nufaka sends $20 our way saying, Happy Friday, best of luck, Storm. Shoutouts to the Bamboo crew, specifically Iris, Rolly, and Carl at the moment. Thank you, Kirtar, for commenting somewhat last minute and keeping Storm company. Storm, you better get some Chinese food after this and sleep. This goes in entirely to the Save Kappa incentive. And we are missing about $1,000 from that being met right now, $1,003. So keep those donations coming for Kappa. Storms, how much time do you think we have?
We still have two stages coming up, so I would say 6-7 minutes.
Alright. So donate right away. Make sure to put that as your incentive. Thank you.
Yeah, Halfling,
So
put your
this boss fight.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm ready. So this boss fight is probably the biggest RNG variance in the run. Basically, each of these guys has 3 different attacks that they can do, and depending on what they choose, you can have a really quick and easy fight, or you can have a long drawn-out fight that loses you on the order of 10 or more seconds. And they can also clip into the wall like that, and maybe softlock the game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
please don't.
these guys aren't too fun.
Yeah, I think that was one of the worst RNG patterns we got there, but it's fine.
Yeah.
At least we don't softlock, because Colossus, so the red guy, can kind of bounce on the wall, and in worst case he just walks off screen and you're kind of screwed. But yeah, coming up now, Glacier Peak. So shoutouts to 2C+, who also ran this game, I think a couple of years ago here at ASA. And 2C was a really big fan of Shovel Knight, and Glacier Peak was his favorite stage. So there's kind of a meme, or it kind of established that we post shovel please in the chat while going for Glacier Peak. So in honor of 2C+, please everyone in the chat just post shovel please in the chat, please. And yeah, Halfling, what can we expect from Glacier?
Pretty much just an amazing soundtrack and tons of rope dart movement. You can see we're already flying through this stage. Really nice vertical room there. The stage, like, there's nothing to stand out as being extremely difficult in it. It's just how well you're able to optimize your movement is how fast you're able to do this stage, which makes it really fun to play, especially towards not the end of this run, but the end of the 8-bit run, which is the most popular category. So very verticality heavy, which also makes it a lot of fun. There's that Wanderer guy again. We saw him in Bamboo Creek and we'll see him again. I wonder who he is.
No spoilers, please.
I promise not to tell. Yeah. So coming up here, that was not a splice. That's another strange thing with the rope dart called a teleport. Basically, we kill an enemy before we arrive at it with our rope dart, and then an enemy of the same type spawns in on the other side of the screen. And since this game reuses the same memory references from old enemies that get killed, it thinks that we rope darted the enemy at the end of the screen and teleports it to its location. Teleports Ninja to its location, which is like at least a 2-second time save. It's a very fun trick.
And yeah, so we are already through Glacier Peak. We got on the top of a mountain now, and the 3 blue guys in the blue robes are telling us now, hey, congratulations, you need to do one last challenge, and they summoned the so-called Tower of Time. And yeah, Tower of Time at the end, especially at the end of the competitive category called 8-bit, is rough. You have lasers that do 4 damage towards you, and we do a lot of damage boost in this stage. And I will concentrate now for a damage skip called Hail Mary, damage boost strat.
Yeah, so this strat, Storms, oh, this is looking good. Storms took damage on the laser and then moved carefully so that he could take another hit of damage on the wizard projectile, going down to 1 health, and using those invincibility frames to skip through all the lasers and save 6 seconds to having to wait for that platform. And then here we went to the checkpoint because we're going to want to take a death warp after this seal. Because having to backtrack through this room where we wait on these crystals to move us through takes a long time. So it's faster to grab the checkpoint and just backtrack. Tower has 3 seals, and we're going to be grabbing all of them. Because the game isn't really designed for you to come back through here, other than to get these, so.
Yeah.
And we're seeing our friend again. Here's another little damage boost, where we use that Wizrub to iframe through the lasers. There's a lot of that in this stage, like trying to take damage to get through lasers, and maximize our health as much as possible to get those iframes. Here's another cool little skip called Levy Special, where we're able to skip the cycle barely on these laser blocking platforms. And what do you know, another type strat, barely making that cycle. That's very nice.
Yeah, unfortunately no HP drop, so you can get HP off these eyeballs, and if we go for Hail Mary, that was the damage boost strat that I did at the beginning of the stage, we kind of rely on getting HP drops to damage through these lasers here, but since we don't get anything, we will need to wait, unfortunately, the cycle. And in 100%, unfortunately, that loses a lot of time compared to normal 8-bit. Because, yeah, first off, we need to grab the seal. Then we are going back into the lasers room, and the platform is unfortunately ascending. So we need to wait till the platform comes back. And, yeah, just have a bit of a chill time here. And yeah, we can't damage boost through the lasers because it deals 4 damage, and right now I'm at 3 HP. And with 4 HP I could do a damage boost strat of the spikes called French, but since we don't have any HP or didn't get anything, like I was mentioning, we just need to wait.
Yeah. The first half of Tower has a lot of type strats. The back half isn't as crazy. But we still got some cool stuff. And Storm's going over the top of that platform. You can actually just walk over to the seal.
Yeah,
and it's not considered going out of bounds.
Yeah, and if you do it correctly, you can even do it damageless, but you need to have the correct pixel to jump off. Yeah, this is the Walk of Shame room, so we try to store one of the shurikens to get early or trigger the crystal here early. If you don't get that, you need to do the Walk of Shame that loses half a second, I think. And
yeah, it actually doesn't lose a ton.
And this is also a tight room where you could do a couple of damage boost strats, but they're pretty risky, and also going into the next room with 3 whiz ropes with 1 HP can be pretty bad. So I will avoid doing this in this setting here. And just, yeah, go take the swing and lose a couple of seconds. So here...
So right here...
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Halfling.
Oh, yeah. So there we do something called crystal abuse, where we're able to slash the crystal through the wall and skip a set of the crystals. Basically, when you're on a wall, your slash hitbox extends further away from Ninja's body. So we're able to take advantage of that fact to slash the crystal through a wall where normally you wouldn't be able to.
And yeah, last but not least, we did a strat called laser skip that saves 4 seconds. If you miss it, you hit the lasers and you go into this boss fight with 2 HP. That can be pretty bad. And yeah, Arcane Golem, the last boss of the 8-bit category. Basically, we try to stay into his head as much as possible. With the rope dart, we're kind of abusing iframes. And depending how many claps we get can get a faster kill or a more slower kill.
That was a really good kill.
And with that, we are through 8-bit. So why we are calling this 8-bit? Because of the aesthetics kind of looking like the old, yeah, NES kind of games. And now the game or the blue ropes are telling us, hey, just jump down that big black hole. And suddenly something is changing now in this game. And we have a cool hat now. So we upgraded our suit, we have a hat. We upgraded our amount of pixels, so we are in the kind of Super Nintendo area now. 16-bit music, everything is looking fancy. And also, dude, I would need, after the next auto-scroller coming up, I would need the result if we met the incentive to save Kappa. And if you have anything to read right now, please feel free, go ahead. So nothing besides movement happening right now here on the stage.
Alright, thank you very much. We have 2 anonymous donations, one $25, thank you very much, and the other $50, and that goes in its entirety to the Save Kappa incentive. We are still missing $900 on that, so get your donations in if you want to see Kappa being saved. Thank you very much for all of your donations so far. We'll be closing that incentive very soon.
Yeah, Cloud Ruins is, I would say, a hard stage, but also very fun to play. But you will see one of the reasons coming up now why it's one of the worst stages. And yeah, please welcome Manfred on the stage. So Manfred, Halfling, can you tell us what's so bad about Manfred?
Well, I don't know where to begin. Manfred's this sky serpent who's chasing after us in these auto-scrollers. So first off, it's an auto-scroller, which, you know, isn't very fun. But these auto-scrollers, it's actually possible to go ahead of the screen. There's nothing stopping you, no invisible walls or anything. So if we wanted to, we could just go ahead of the screen and do basically the entire room blind, which obviously is not marathon safe. And then the other thing about Manfred is that he's going to be the boss of this stage. And there's a very strange and interesting boss kill where if you position yourself precisely at the beginning of the fight, he gets...
Damn.
Oh no.
Yeah, I lost grip there, fortunately. Ah yeah, by the way, since this was kind of my first not intentional death, so for every not intentional death I would donate $5 at the end of the run, so... yeah, please chat, help me counting my deaths, and that's the second one. Damn, this room is hard.
Yeah, not a lot of ground to stand on here. But you just wanted to show off the teleport a total of 3 times, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I will go for the safe threat now because I don't want to lose all my money to this room.
Yeah, those Banshee enemies, their patterns are actually different after the first time you see them. So if you mess up the room, you can get really thrown off, like trying it again and again, and they're in slightly different locations than what you're used to.
There you go. So,
got another teleport coming up in this screen.
and yeah, I would need so after this auto scroller, I would need the result if we met the incentive or not.
Oh. Yeah. The other thing I didn't mention about Manfred is that on these screens, he will kill you in 1 hit. So it's not even like you get forgiven if you bump into him a little bit. You just die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And yeah, as Halfling was mentioning earlier, you can do this blind, but yeah, learning all of the 3 auto scrollers in the stage is on top of the movement and everything you need to do pretty rough. And yeah, I would need the result now, so the 3rd auto scroller is coming up soon.
Yeah, we are unfortunately not saving Kappa. We didn't make the incentive, but the incentive by itself raised over $547. So thanks to all of you who donated towards that incentive. That's still a lot of money for Alzheimer Fund, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think that's worth an applause for all the people raising money. And yeah, fortunately I will get the satisfaction to kill the Kappa. So yeah, this is the last auto-scroller with Manfred, and here's our friend Kappa, and that was Kappa. So if we would have met that incentive, we will let Kappa jump into the Krill from Marsh, but yeah, now he's gone. And after this auto-scroller, we will come up on the Manfred boss fight, and yeah, let's pray that we hopefully see Manfred. I mean, it kind of depends how Manfred is feeling today.
You gotta make Nessus happy.
So, let's see. Okay, that's already bad. Yeah, I screwed up the setup. So no ball for it, unfortunately. And yeah, I will not go. There's a jiggle strat, so you can do pretty rough, yeah, jiggling this whole fight, but it's pretty hard. It's really, really hard to do that. And I think 2C did it the last time this game was showed off, so it looks easier than it is. And yeah, as you can see, this boss fight is brutal. It's Manfred is moving so much across the screen, and if you don't land ball for it, you lose kind of 30 to 45 seconds. So it's not required yet to land the strat in a category like 100%, but we have a category called linear that is kind of extending 8-bit towards these two 16-bit levels. And yeah, in linear, it's basically if you land the strat, your one is safe. If you miss it, you can reset.
Yeah. Manfred was one of the hardest bosses for me in my casual playthrough.
Yeah, I died a lot to Manfred.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, the kind of plot twist now is, so the Blue Robes wanted us to get through Cloud Runes and just be done. But the guy that was keep following us across all these stages was the Demon General, and the Demon General just puts us now in the Underworld. And yeah, wants to kill us. So we need to get through this lava base stage now and fight the demon general at the end. By the way, this is the same music that we already listened to in Ninja Village while the village was attacked, but this is now the 16-bit version of Underworld. Underworld is a pretty cool stage. Yeah, like you can see, the lava gets introduced here. But besides that, it's just movement, like always in Messenger. Take a small damage boost here to kind of quickly go through the lava while we have iframes.
Yeah, that lava normally is a instant kill, but if you've taken damage and have iframes, you can just walk in it, I guess.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, we'll take it safe here. Normally we bounce on the Scooby-Boo. How is it? I think it's Scooby-Boo. So the green little thingy. And do a damage boost strat off there, but I got a bad angle, you could say. As bad as this one, so we need to play a bit more safe or get hit by a fireball, unfortunately. And yeah, that's the 4th death. That's the 5th. Okay, I will play the safe now.
Yeah. When you die, you only respawn with 3 HP, so it kind of makes getting through a lot harder.
Yeah, now we got the...
I can't believe you go for that. I'm not brave enough to squeeze through that tiny little gap.
Yeah, so these stages can be really punishing, and yeah, everything is kind of damaging you. So we will grab the save points here for safety. Come on.
So in this vertical room, that lava you saw at the bottom, that's supposed to follow us all the way up, but we actually move so fast through the room that we never see it again. It's supposed to be this intense chase, but we just are too fast.
Yeah, I think the buttons are more intense than the lava section, so... Yeah. Besides that, Underworld is just... so we grab one more seal coming up here. We need to wait out on the lava cycle. Okay, I got that. That cycle is a bit tight. And with that, we just get through the last couple rooms of the stage and face off the Demon General. That can be a pretty tricky fight, casually. So, Halfling, could you explain what we try to aim for in the Demon General?
Yeah, so there's a few things going on. The first thing you're going to see is Storms is going to try to bait the Demon General to charge into the top right corner of the screen. Alright, so it was a little low there.
Yeah,
but,
Demon General was way too low.
So what you see instead is that Storms is timing his shuriken throws and the Demon General is just sort of standing there.
Damn, I think he's 1 or 2 HP off.
For some reason... Yeah, it was really close. Yeah, for some reason, he just sort of chills out if you shuriken him after every 10 hits you do.
Okay, yeah, couple of hits. But yeah. still a quick kill. So,
still a fast fight.
So yeah, as you could see, based also on the enemies in the background, so we try to aim to go in the top right corner and keep the Demon General there to get as a fast kill as possible. But sometimes you just have bad luck on this positioning and you need to go for a bit of a slower setup. But it was still fast. And yeah, the Demon General wanted to kill us while with the explosion. But luckily our friend Manfred is saving us now, and since we're in the future, we will keep riding on Manfred and go back to the Ninja Village. But since we're in the future now, I think 500 years, there's the Demon King again, attacking the Ninja Village, and now we are the Western hero saving the day. So yeah, the cycle continues.
Yeah, essentially it's revealed.
Oh,
yeah, that is the cycle. It's a curse. Of every 500 years, the demons come.
Exactly. So we give the scroll to the next messenger, and what happens now is that the blue robes of the shopkeeper is summoning us and tell us, hey, just open that closet, and magically we will get a blue robe and am a shopkeeper ourselves now. So every messenger of the past cycle is a shopkeeper or a blue robe now, and we are the shopkeeper now for the new messenger coming up here, as you can see, who is quickly going into this room, and you will see him a couple of times revisiting the shop, and we will give him the same upgrades that we also got from the shopkeeper. But there's one detail that the old shopkeeper didn't told us, and can you tell us, Halfling, what's happening?
Turns out that the shopkeeper was the one who was sending Corbel after us whenever we died. So we didn't know that. So when this messenger died, no greed demon came to save him, and he is now permanently dead.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, is it really our fault if they didn't tell us we had to do that? But regardless, now we have to go fix our mistake. And the writing in this game is super funny. Obviously, we can't read it because it's in simplified Chinese, and we're skipping past it really fast. But definitely some humorous interactions in that long cutscene.
Yeah, and as you can see now, we are in the Tower of Time, and you see a lot of portals, so the game is opening up now to a Metroidvania. So we can revisit all of the stages. You will see small gimmicks with time, with the time portals now in the stages itself, and this kind of opens up now the whole second part of the game that we call Second Quest. And at the beginning of... Yeah, just want to say, at the beginning of Second Quest, the shopkeeper tells us now, hey, just look at the scroll that we gave you, it's a map, and we didn't know that, so we have a map now and can go through the stages.
Not that we're gonna look
Damn.
at the map, but it's nice to know it's there. Oh. Yeah, but having all those portals really opens up a lot of routing possibilities. Because there's going to be tons of stuff we need to go, and we're going to have to visit some areas more than once. So it's really interesting and fun to think about the most efficient way to go through and get everything we need to get. Right now, we're making a trip. We do this first for a few reasons. One is to get one of the music notes, like the invisible one we collected earlier. And also because there's sort of a pretty long side quest that we have to do, so we have to get the item for that before we go visit some of the other locations in the game.
And yeah, with that flying Scooby, we just skipped the whole section where you need to go completely around these rooms to get to this music note. And yeah, with that, I think we just saved maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I don't know how long that section is, needs to be played.
Yeah, it's a pretty long section, and there's lots of sort of puzzles having to do with these time portals, and you have to figure out where you need to be in what time. So it's pretty lengthy, even if you do know exactly what you're doing. So coming up here, we have another little power seal room.
Yeah, we just damage boost through the spikes. Because we have a lot of HP, And now we are going back to Ninja Village to get one of the items that we need for 100% and also collect the seal. So there's a seal at the end of Ninja Village that we couldn't grab in the past. And we get cool yeets all over the place.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, that's also the coolest part about 100% that you can do with yeet. Because in any percent you don't do that. And Ninja Village is also full of yeets.
Yeah, these yeets are super interesting because the way they work is that you're rope darting a wall through a time portal. And since the wall disappears
got the
when...
long yeet. Nice.
Oh, really nice. Yeah, since the wall disappears, you just keep going at your rope dart speed and don't run into a wall at all. So it's a fun little mechanism.
And yeah, also shout out to 16-bit Ninja Village music. It's really great. I love the beat of its music. And yeah, since running and rope darting is slow, we will just yeet back. Yeah, unfortunately we can't go to title screen or something to kind of skip the way back from Ninja Village, because if you go to the title screen without any checkpoints hit like the shop, your seals will not be saved. So I would have needed to recollect the seals.
Yeah, it works a little differently than games like Hollow Knight, where as soon as you collect an item, it's in your inventory forever. So that makes the routing a little bit different.
Okay, so after we visited Autumn Hills, we will see that stage a couple of times later. We will go to Glacier Peak now, and coming up in Glacier will be a pretty hard skip that I hopefully can pull off. At least in practice it worked. So Halfling, could you explain what we're trying to do here?
Yeah, so we're making our way to visit our friend Manfred, who got stuck in a giant icicle. And normally to free him, we have to go back to Quillshroom Marsh. We have to collect an item, then go back to Quillshroom Marsh, where we curse the Queen of Quills, because she actually isn't evil. She's just under the influence of a fungal curse. And then she uses her whip to break some lanterns so that we can get to Manfred. That's really slow. So what we do, there's a few options, but the fastest one is a trick called Leashless, where we abuse some of the mechanics of how slashes and cloud steps work to get what is basically happening is that whenever you slash, the slash lasts for a long duration. So we're able to cloud slash, then cloud step, and then put the trailing remainder of our slash into the lantern to get a second cloud step. And if we're able to really milk all the height out of it, we can just barely reach up to the platform where Manfred is, and we don't have to go through the rigmarole of freeing Queen of Quills. So it's a pretty tight trick. We'll see how it goes here. But say hi to Manfred.
Nice.
Nice. You need to just barely nick the top corner of the lantern, otherwise you're not going to get enough height to make it up there. So.
Yeah, and it's called Leashless because they are like the leashing with a bird that we did in Searing Crags with a note earlier. You can do this here with a whiz rope and a bird, so you have two enemies where you can leash from. But it's, yeah, Leashless is way faster if you can get it fast. Yeah,
it
now
saves 10 seconds if you get it first try.
Yeah, and now we have Elemental Skylands, where we will get introduced into a so-called bullet hell game. So we are riding Manfred now, and we need to get through the stage. The stage has really awesome music, and I really enjoy it, but you need to mash kinda to get yeah, all of the enemies, because we need as much money as possible. And while we're going through the stage, we also need to collect seals and deactivate generators to reveal the boss of the stage. But yeah, the music is pretty hype of the stage.
Yeah, so like the gimmick of this level, I guess, is that there's 4 sections for each of the elements: earth, air, fire, and water. So right now we're in the air Skyland. So there's lots of these wind vents and flying enemies and wingsuit usage. Obviously water has a lot of water, fire has lots of fire, and earth has lots of quicksand and dirt enemies, so...
Yeah, and here we kind of abuse the detail that you can... If you have a cloud step in an airstream, you kind of get boosted towards the top. And we abuse that with the enemy to, yeah, kind of quickly go through the seal room. So normally the game intends you to go to the end of the seal room and use all of these banshees or ghosts to get towards that. And yeah, with a kind of air boost, we can just quickly go through that. And yeah, if you have time for messages now, please feel free. So because there's not a lot of stuff happening here.
Sure, thank you very much. I would just like to remind our viewers that we are ESA Winter 23 raising money for Alzheimerfonden, the Swedish Alzheimer's Foundation. The goals of the council works is to get maximum dividends on the research money for affected patients and their relatives. We also encourage collaboration between researchers at different universities. The goal of Alzheimerfonden is to be an important research financier in this work. In the absence of effective medicines, it is important to research the best preventive measures for Alzheimer's disease. Thank you very much for all of your donations so far. Keep them coming. We have some very interesting incentives coming up. In the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, which is right after this run, you can actually make your own character. If you choose the sex, character name, and the race, you can have the runner play with the character you made. So be sure to choose that bid war when donating to ESA Winter 23. Thank you very much for all of your wonderful donations so far, and be sure to keep them coming.
Yeah, here we'll just quickly do a damage boost to skip most of this island. So if you have enough HP, it's kind of free to go with a damage boost, and yeah, also kind of small sequence break in the stage.
Yeah, this is the only island where we don't have to worry about getting a power seal, so we are able to just sort of go through it as normal and skip most of it because of that little sequence break. And we get to do another shoot 'em up auto-scroller. These can be kind of stressful, especially the one before Skylands, because you're really worried about preserving health. This one isn't too bad because we will get an HP lantern right at the start of Water Skylands. But especially since we still only have 6 HP, it can be a little scary to have to focus on trying to kill all the enemies and not take damage at all. So.
Yeah, and you can also, if you keep holding,
you gotta stay active.
If you keep holding the button, you can also do charge shot with Manfoot. Yeah, coming up now is Water Skylands, that has one of the worst sea rooms in the game. Small yeet here. So we'll play it a bit.
Something about timing these water dashes is really difficult for some reason. But that was very nice.
And yeah, now at the second part of the water stage, we will also kind of try to do a small sequence break. So we will not go the room as intended by the game. We will kind of try to, quickly skip most of these time portals, because normally normally the game intends you to go right, go left, go right, and yeah, we don't want to do that. And yeah, going to the last of the button mash hell. Also, we need to preserve or stay as healthy as possible here, because in Fire Island, Fire Skylands, we don't really have that much of HP bottles. So it's pretty important here not to take too much damage. And yeah, also collecting all the money that we can get. Yeah, last section of enemies. And we are out of Skylands with kind of 1,500 time shards. That's a good sign. So as Halfling was mentioning, we need as much money as possible later in the game, and if we don't die too often in the early game and get as much time shot as we can get, it reduces the time later that we need for the shot grind.
It's also just important to have enough, because there are some upgrades we do need to buy, both to make stages more easy and less stressful because of preserving health, and because there's some skips we want to do that require a certain amount of HP. So being able to get those upgrades actually does save time outside of reducing the shard grind later.
And yeah, if you have a donation or if you have some messages, feel free. So I'm just attempting a yeet here.
Sure, we have $20 from Holly saying the Messenger is an amazing game, and that goes to the Ultima 9 Accession, any percent bid war, not bid war, incentive of killing Lord British, and right now we are at $297 out of $1,500 for the incentive. If you want to see Lord British dead, be sure to donate to that incentive. Thank you.
So, Halfling, could you explain why I opened the map here?
Yeah, so when you're on Manfred and you open the map and continue mashing, you actually just keep shooting fireballs. But the projectiles on this boss don't spawn, so, normally the boss's projectiles would be getting in the way of our projectiles, but by opening our map, we're able to make sure all of our fireballs hit the boss, so we're able to get done with the fight as soon as possible. So, maybe not the most exciting gameplay to watch, but you're just staring at a blank screen, but it's also nice because then you don't have to worry about taking as much damage in this fight, because none of the projectiles are spawning. So,
yep,
it's
and
a really
that's the
nice
boss.
quick fight.
So yeah, especially because as you can already see, the game, if you play 100%, is pretty long. We have prepared save files that you, as an example, can start off the second quest part, that you can only play 8-bit, that is the most competitive category because it's the shortest. But especially if you try to go for second quest, that you only speedrun the second part of the story, doing Elemental Skylands over and over is really, whacking your hand, to be honest. But yeah, so now Manfred got us back to Glacier Peak, and we will continue our journey and picking up the last remaining seals, getting the notes.
Yeah, this run goes between really intense and difficult levels like Elemental Skylands there, and sort of more fun, still still with some tight movement, but more relaxed sections where we're backtracking and collecting items and stuff. So it's a really nice back for it. So yeah, we're just going backwards through Glacial into Searing Crags. There's one more seal we've got to pick up here with a death warp as well. So
Yeah, not an intentional death, hopefully. Not intentional death. Waste that wrong.
yeah. We want to be able to be in the 8-bit time when we enter Searing Crags, so we take the death warp so that we can go back and take the time portal that we want to take.
Yeah, now we're going back to Searing Crags via Glacier Peak, so we can just descend here now with a rope. And we want to be in 8-bit because of that reason coming up now, so we need to plant a seed here. And if we are in 8-bit, we can directly do that.
Yeah. Because literally the next thing we're going to do is switch to 16-bit and harvest the seed when it's all grown up.
Yeah, now we go back to the plants and just collect what we just seeded, and with that, we're done with that part. So now we're getting one more seal here in Crags. That room is horrible casually. But
You can actually just hold left though.
yeah, just hold left and kinda wingsuit slash at the last moment, and the room is free. And now we're going down here to activate the time portal for the Tower of Time. Because we later need to revisit a different part of the stage. And to get faster there, we just open the time portal here. And now, unfortunately, we need to backtrack to the kinda beginning of Searing Crags. Because we still need... Whoa, okay. We still need one more seal that's at the beginning of Crags. And we couldn't collect that earlier, unfortunately. So yeah, while we're backtracking, if you have any messages...
Yeah, these seals that are only available...
Sorry, just wanted to say if there are any messages or something, please feel free to read them.
Sure, we just had a massive $220 donation.
Wow, that's amazing.
From Dadiolo guy, who says, won't be awake for Skyrim one, but figure gonna donate for it. Greetings from the US of A. Thank you very much for that massive donation, and it's in its entirety it's sent to the obviously the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim main quest glitch list bid war for creating your character for the name Maidenless. Just a reminder, you can also pick the name. Aside from the name, you can also pick the race and the sex. Thank you very much for your donation, and keep them coming.
Yeah, just quick picked up the health here. I was healthy enough, but yeah, I would just go for a bit more safety. And with that, we are finally done with Searing Crags. So we got all the we got the note, we got the seals and Crags. So we can just make our way through this awful stage now. But only keyboard players appreciate. So before we go to the next stage, we will buy an upgrade. We will buy a bit more health and a shield upgrade. So the shield upgrade gives us less damage if we take damage. So instead of getting 3 or losing 3 HP, we are only losing 2 now if we get hit by some by spikes. If we get hit by an enemy, we will also lose less health. So this enables us later in the game to do a bit more of riskier strats and more damage boost. And I think this is unfortunately one of the worst parts in 100%. So we need one more item in 8-bit, in Ninja Village. And that's the wax candle. Unfortunately, we don't have any good place where we could squeeze in this going back to Ninja Village just to get that. So yeah, this is kind of the unfortunate backtracking part, where we can't get any seals or pick something else. Because you're only able to get the wax candle once you have the plant that we just picked up in Crags. But yeah, we can enjoy some Autumn Hills music. And yeah, just wanted to say, and we can see the yeet again if I can pull it off. So yep, nice.
Nice. Definitely one of the more fun things to do in this game.
Yes. That's totally worth playing 100% for 2.5 hours if you can yeet at one stage. And yeah, now we're going back into the old ninja village and talk to our sensei, get the wax candle, and we are done with backtracking to Ninja Village. So unfortunately we need to go back to a shop now. And the earliest shop in this game is in Autumn Hills. So
very familiar with these first few rooms of the game.
yeah. But now we kind of have an NG Plus movement, so you can play, once you complete this game, you have a game mode called NG Plus where you already have the warp dart and all the necessary upgrades, so a lot of people tend to run that because after a while 8-bit can get pretty, intimidating, I would say, and reset heavy, so sometimes it's cool to enjoy something else. So now we have Holding Grotto in 16-bit with even more awesome music. So the first thing we would do in Grotto is change the time to 8-bit and now run back towards the end of the stage, because there is again a seal that we couldn't collect in the early game, because we need to switch times to reach that seal.
Yeah, here's another place where death warping is useful. Storms is gonna skip a checkpoint coming up in this room, so that when he death warps, he'll just be sent straight back to the room in the stage where the that shop was, right? So
yeah, for that I just tried to jump over the checkpoint, and now we get into the sea room, and I just unfortunately I got a sticky ninja, so we need to wait out one more cycle. And now we just take a death, intentional death, to get back to the earlier part of the stage, because we can save a lot of time using this death warp. Yeah, a bit of a cheese thread here for the seal. Nice.
that's a really tight red dart, just barely squeezing under that crusher.
Yeah, now we will go back to Crush Room through Holding Grotto, because that's kind of the newest addition towards this route that Halfling found a couple of weeks ago and timed it and said it's a couple of seconds faster than how we used to do it. So what we are doing here, we're taking the water stream towards Crush Room. Don't take any checkpoints now, and we will just grab the seal, take a death warp, and then we will get back at the beginning of Grotto.
Okay.
Yeah, need to change time here because the seal is only available in 16-bit. But yeah, we can enjoy 16-bit crucial music. 100% is the only category where you can see 16-bit cruise room because we completely skip it otherwise.
Yeah, and that's all we have to go there for, just that one little seal.
Yeah, now we yeah, just jump in here and getting crushed into the peanut butter. So
No, this is kind of annoying.
yeah,
We have to swim against the current.
but now we can make our way towards the Sunken Shrine. That is also kind of reference to the awesome new game that is coming up by Sabotage called Sea of Stars. Because Sea of Stars is based on the Messenger universe, and yeah, Sabotage did this game, and Sabotage is a really awesome and speedrunner supportive development team. So yeah, if you already played through the demo of Sea of Stars, you can see where everything kind of started.
Yeah. Sabo's a really cool dev team because they made a pact with the speedrunners that basically anything we find that saves time and doesn't really affect the experience for casual players, they'll leave it in the game and let us play through their game quick. So
yeah, and they
it's
even
super cool.
And even when the DLC came out for this game, so the DLC is called Picnic Panic, they kind of had the problem that they needed to fix a bug or that we abused for speedrunning. And what Sabotage did is they fixed the bug for the casual gameplay of Picnic Panic, but also kind of maintained it within the game so that we can still use our speed tech. So yeah, shout out to Sabotage, really awesome development team. And yeah, this is kind of, I think the game codes with the Lost Woods, so in Ocarina of Time in the code. It's kind of like a maze, but if we collect the magic seashell that we collected at the beginning of the game, then the game just hints us towards where we need to go. And since portals take time to activate, we would just go below there, and yeah, this kind of saves barely time.
This trick here is called Backdoor Tabby. We're not supposed to get up there here. It requires a pretty precise jump and a one tile. And it lets us, in any percent, it saves like even more time than here. But we're basically able to skip a long section of a room where we have to take a time portal. There you go. And here's one of those skips that getting those health upgrades is useful for, because we need to take all 6 HP from the spikes to get the upgrade that lets us walk on water.
Yeah.
And lava. So.
Yeah, it took a bit longer than I expected to be, but sometimes it's just that with one tile. So the timing when you press jump is pretty important for one tile. We'll just grab the save point here for safety.
Sunken Shrine's a really fun stage. Lots of water, so we can do those water yeets you've been seeing throughout the rest of the run as well. And just really fun movement, in my opinion. And a great soundtrack. Really nice aesthetic, so.
Yeah, just taking a bit with, more safe than usual. Yeah, didn't want to touch that. But it's fine, so we have enough HP, so we should survive that. So here again is a really awful seal, I would say.
Yeah, the timing's sort of awkward, where you have to hang out on these platforms going back and forth. but you can't actually turn around when you're using the Lightfoot Tabby upgrade, so you have to jump midair to turn around and like stay on the platforms.
And we take
So just did a
another
good job there.
intentional death here because it's just faster to die instead of going back the whole room.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Halfling was mentioning, the small yeet here, the backdoor tabby or Lightfoot tabby ability, you need to be in constant movement to walk on water or any liquid surface, and this can really throw you off at the beginning if you're learning the game. And I died a lot of times because I kept forgetting that I need to be in constant movement. So yeah, for the rest of Sunken Shrine, we will pick up now these quests, so a Moon Quest and a Sun Quest to unlock the big mighty door here in the middle of the stage. But we will also collect the remaining seals.
You're walking in those spikes there, just right as that hitbox disappears, getting into them. Really nice job keeping the cycle tight.
Yeah, this is a bit risky here with 1 HP. Oh, thank you. Yeah, sometimes the game is nice and gives you some HP drops, but at some parts the game just hates you and you don't get any HP at all. And yeah, as you can see over the course of this game, they made heavily use of this time mechanic where you need to constantly switch between 8 and 16 bits to enable new paths into all new stages and also in the stages you revisit. And yeah, sometimes it's also just nice to enjoy the looks and the music of this game. So as of right now, there's not really much to talk about. So we will make use of every ability that we already kind of introduced to you, and just get through the stage as quickly as possible. But yeah, maybe Halfling, you can talk a little bit about the rerouting that we did now for the stage. Like how we are used to do it?
Yeah, so we used to actually go here first, because the way the stage is intended is that you go through this section to be able to get the Lightfoot Tabby upgrade. And then you're able to access the 2 lower parts where you get the Sun and Moon crests, right? But since we did Backdoor Tabby, we're actually doing this portion last. And even though we knew about Backdoor Tabby as an option for any percent, because we didn't need to get this seal, until recently we just assumed that it would be faster to play this section since we need to get the seal anyway. So shoutouts to Storms for actually going and timing it and discovering it is actually faster.
Yeah, so basically we are just we're just skipping that checkpoint. It's also pretty easy to skip that because of the lanterns. And yeah, now we will go towards the sea room. Don't make it in time? Yeah. Fine.
Nice.
Grab the seal and unfortunately, put Ninja in a death place again, but it's faster.
Yeah, now we're just right back at the beginning of the stage and we get to leave.
Yeah.
Or get the note first, I guess, is important, but...
So now we have a 30-40 seconds cutscene. I still forget how long this cutscene is, but here we're actually getting now the Sea of Star reference. So you have sun and moon left and right. This whole aesthetic, so everything about the stage is kinda, or was the origin behind the Sea of Stars game. So next up, we will go back to Grotto, grab the last seal, and then we will also need to pick up some small helpers called the Phobikins. And we already got one. The name of the one we got already is Necro, and we got it in Catacombs. It was so fast that most people don't realize, because we just talked to Necro and he joined us. But we need the Phobikins to build us a bridge towards Forlorn Temple. And yeah, for the naming behind these Phobikins is always based on the kind of type they're afraid of. So Necro is all the phobia they have. So Necro is necrophobic. Then we have Claustro, who is claustrophobic. Then we have Pyro, who is pyrophobic. And last but not least, we have Acro, who is acrophobic. And as you will see, they're always kind of in these places that we're afraid of. Yeah, where we took a little small teleport because it's just faster and it transitions very well with the time portal. And now we get the last remaining seal here in Howling Grotto. We could have gotten that in 8-bit, but doing this without any big amount of HP and without the shield that we bought is pretty risky. So we rerouted that to get that later in the game. Since we need to go through here anyway.
And now we pretty much make our way back through the beginning of Grotto to go to Bamboo Creek. And that's the last we'll see of Grotto this run.
Yep. Another stage where we can put the check mark on. Yeah, as you can see, this is the rope dart climbing, so you need a little bit of time to get used to it, but it's way faster than normal climbing. So here we try to go, kind of jump through the block. If you time it right, a ninja will grab the wall and you can just bypass that block. So, besides that, this is called no out of bounds. We have some small stuff where we kind of agreed as a community this is not a out of bounds for us. Because if you see a real out of bounds messenger speedrun, it kind of looks very different than what we are doing here.
Yeah. Since we're able to bypass that block without, like, you can also just destroy the block from outside the wall, and it's possible to accidentally clip inside of it. We sort of ruled that any sort of non-static boundaries like that are okay to bypass.
Yeah, now we are in 16-bit bamboo. Also, the 100% is the only category where we go into 16-bit bamboo. So in normal any percent, we do bamboo in 8-bit because it's way faster than the 16-bit variant. But yeah, we need to get the seals again. And these are only available in 16-bit. Also, shout out to Chinese food.
I can't believe you forget any percent New Game Plus out of bounds storms. That category also is at 16-bit bamboo.
I never played that category.
Yeah, that one doesn't get as much attention. But regardless, there's another little seal.
Yeah, like we were mentioning, we need to collect 45 of those. So we're still... I would say we are kind of midpoint seals-wise. I don't really have a counter on the top of my head right now, but I think it's kind of midway of seals. Yeah. Yeah, and like in 8-bit, I missed it, but you can go above this tree, and this is also not an out of bounds for us. But this is the only kind of small thingy we allowed here, so we try to reduce this as much as possible to abuse anything like that.
So there's just one more seal we have to get in Bamboo. Another sort of tricky room where we sequence break a little bit. You're supposed to have to run across the middle there, but we are able to use our shurikens instead to take care of it. To take care of those switches down on the left side. And make the room pretty fast and easy.
Yeah, you can also do a technique called wet F-row. Shout out to Foodie Waffles for finding that, where you can use the one tile swimming. So you can swim in one tile water. I did that already in Sunken Shrine, where I skipped the time portal. But yeah, it's the shuriken base setup is a bit easier to pull off.
Yeah, it's faster and safer. So.
And yeah, now we go to Catacombs, and unfortunately our beloved friend Ruxton is dead. There, and Ruxton waters a ladder and giving us his amulet that we need for his staff that is on top of the Glacier Peak to get to a different stage later. But first off, we will go through Catacombs.
Yeah. In addition to the amulet, he also tells us where this sort of, not really secret area, but where this next area is. I don't know why he needed to tell us. It's pretty obvious it's there, but I guess it was nice of him.
Pretty obvious maybe for speedrunners.
I just played the game too much, I guess.
Yeah, that's one of the seals. We need to collect one more seal. The first seal in Catacombs you already collected in the early game in 8-bit. Yeah, there's a way here to skip that crusher, but it's pretty tight. And yeah, can go pretty bad. So I don't want to do that right now. And yeah, here's the last seal room of Catacombs. You can't really skip some stuff here in that seal room, unfortunately, but you can enjoy it. Kind of a 24-bit remix of Catacombs, because the 16-bit and the 8-bit music are playing at the same time. And now we are basically done with Catacombs. Like we were mentioning earlier, need to make sure here not to hit the floor, because I skipped this, the cutscene with Ruxton, and I can still trigger that in the late game. And now we're making our way towards the Dark Cave and also towards Riviera, the next real stage coming up. So this is the kind of secret hidden passage Ruxton was talking about. But yeah, it's kind of obvious if you kind of look for a bit more details. So this is the Dark Cave. In any percent, we do this blind. So normally you don't see anything within the stage, but since we picked up a wax candle in 100%, we are able to see. And I think compared to the blind strat, being able to see only saves maybe 1 or 2 more seconds in the stage.
Yeah, just being a little more confident with your movement. Taking corners tighter, rope darting at a longer range, saves a little bit of time to have the candle, but not a big deal. This is a pretty short stage. It basically mainly just exists so that casual players have to get the candle before they're able to access this area, which is Riviera Turquoise.
Turquoise, I think is the...
Turquoise. Pardon, my French is not up to snuff.
Yeah, since Sabotage is a French-Canadian development studio, the game is mainly developed in French, or the main language of the game was French-Canadian. but yeah, they translated also pretty well into English, but all the enemies, most of the stages are mostly French influenced. And yeah, Riviera is one of those. It's kind of a bit harder to pronounce. And yeah, Riviera is one of the, I think, most colorful stages, or even most dark stages, where it kind of flips back and forth due to the time portals. Unfortunately, they didn't do that with any later stage of the game that dramatically. Oh my god. Okay, that's 6.
Fortunately, the checkpoint's only a room behind or so.
Yeah, sometimes you just miss your warp dot.
The main gimmick of this stage are these flowers you see. When you hit the flowers, they change direction, so there's some puzzles, in air quotes later, where you sort of have to figure out which flowers are in what direction, and you can bounce around to get to the end of the stage. However, most of them you can just completely skip by using cloud steps, so we don't really have to worry about it in the speedrun.
Didn't get the teleport, unfortunately. So there's a teleport you can take on the turtle, but it's a bit different compared to how we normally set up teleports, but it's fine. So yeah, now we get a 1 tile here to quickly skip this whole seal, because normally you need to drop down the waterfall. Ninja will get chewed up towards the seal, and then you need to glide there. But we are, yeah, can abuse or break that with getting that 1 tile.
This room is super cursed. The platforms can be really strange about, like, attaching to your rope dart, and you just sort of get stuck in the middle of no man's land.
Yeah.
It's a really scary room.
Riviera itself is a pretty scary stage, and so I need to set up a bird here now.
Another big yeet all the way through this room. Oh,
Nice.
that scared me.
Yeah, it was a bit low, but it worked out. And yeah, with that we can skip the whole sections of these last 2 rooms. So that saves a lot of time. Damn, I didn't intend to touch that. And yeah, if you have any messages, please feel free, because right now this is just platforming based on the flowers.
Awesome, thank you very much. I just wanted to remind our lovely viewers that you might be eligible to win some prizes this ESA. If you donate towards the stream with a minimum donation of, for example, $200, you can win a custom ESA Nintendo Switch. Also for that amount, there is a custom ESA PlayStation 5 available. For $100, we have the ESA Watch Party 2023 poster, or Lego Super Mario 64 question block, or a Retron 5. These are our main prizes. One more remaining with WD Black Prize of Choice with a minimum donation of $50. All of these minimum donations are cumulative, so it only matters that you donated as much during the entire event. It does not have to be a single donation. Make sure to check how much you've donated so far if you're not missing a prize by just a couple of dollars. Thank you for all of your donations so far. Make sure to keep them coming. Make sure to keep donating for this fantastic cause. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, we just did a skip that was found by TMR. So back in the day when the game came out, TMR also ran this game. And I think that's, yeah, the strat he contributed towards this game. It's called the TMR bird skip. Yeah, and still used till today. Saves a bunch of time because we can skip a couple of rooms. So Halfling,
So this boss,
yeah, please explain this awful boss.
So this boss is a bat that's pretending to be a beautiful moth and is evil. So the idea is that there's these invisible platforms that we can't see, and we have to dodge all the attacks, and then they get revealed to us. We know where the platforms are, so that's not really an issue. And what that lets us do is we get up and we can start doing damage to the boss before it starts checking whether it needs to move on to the next phase. So if Storms does enough damage and is able to hit it off screen, we might see a 2-cycle.
Yeah, I think I barely missed it, but I didn't do enough damage in the first phase, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can sort of follow it up above the top of the screen, and if you do enough damage, you can kill it really quickly.
I missed 2 damage.
Yeah, still really good fight.
And yeah, since we saved the Firefly now, we need that later in the game. We are basically, this is an intentional death. We are basically done with Riviera. So we grab some upgrades here, a bit more health. And go to Underworld, you know. Yeah,
so this is the other reason.
Yeah, I just want to say my biggest concern is that I forget something, because in a 2.5 hours one, this can easily happen, and already happened to me doing a PB attempt. But I think I'm fine until now, so I should have collected everything in order.
I don't think you've missed anything yet.
And yeah, we unlocked the portal earlier to get to Underworld now, that you can only access if you have Lightfoot Tabby. So you need to be able to walk on lava. And yeah, that's why we couldn't get to the stage earlier. But now we see Underworld in 8-bit compared to the 16-bit that we saw earlier.
There's not too much in 8-bit Underworld, just grabbing a few seals and then collecting the music note we need from it, so. Here's the first.
Yeah, sometimes Sticky Ninja happens and you just get stuck onto a wall. And yeah, now, since we would need to go below there, we've tried to not get the next checkpoint and grab the seals and do a death warp again to save a bit of more time not going back these rooms. So, this is the first one. And easy.
These serums aren't too.
Yeah,
too hard.
And easy to miss. The next one is directly below this one. Yeah, and with that, we can now, with the power of the Death Warp, we can go back the any percent route and go below now to grab the Key of Chaos. So the node. Yeah, I think it's called Key of Chaos, right? Not Node of Chaos. It's a music note, yeah, but it's called Key of Chaos. So. And maybe Halfling, can you explain why we need these music notes? I don't know if we explained that at all.
Yeah, so we need to collect 6 music notes to unlock the final stage of the game, which is Music Box. So yeah, basically this whole second phase of the game is collecting the upgrades we need to be able to access all the music notes and then play the final stage and beat the game. And obviously we need them for 100% completion anyway, so.
Exactly. Yeah.
These rooms can be pretty deadly.
Yeah, this This can be a death for your PBs, because it's easily to miss one of the rope darts here or get hit accidentally by these fireballs. And if you're in a bad place, you yeah, you would just die. But yeah.
Nothing to worry about though.
But yeah, we are also getting close towards the late game of the game, so it's still a bunch of stuff coming up, but we're getting closer and closer towards the late game.
This is where you can start to feel like the end of the 2.5 hours is slowly in sight.
Yes. So now we're going back to Glacier Peak to be able to talk with Roxanne's staff that is kind of stuck at the top of Glacier Peak here. But we need Roxanne's amulet that was in his coffin. That the Roxanne's staff has magical power again. And with that power, he can send us towards the Cloud Ruin stage again. That is also not only in 16-bit now, we also got 8-bit Cloud Ruins. So just grabbing a bit more money here. Well, got a bit, yeah, was a bit too sticky for me. Didn't really want to miss that cycle. Also 8-bit Cloud Ruins is a really great stage to play. I really enjoy the stage. Besides the shard grind that we will see at the end of the stage.
Yeah, the stage, it's a pretty difficult stage as they go. Like it's a pretty easy, there's lots of places where you can die. But it's still pretty fun to play. Because you get to do a lot of teleports and cool damage boost strats and stuff.
Got a bad angle on that wall climb. So now we need to get up here because there's one seal, yeah, hidden at the top of this room here. And this seal can be brutal, so the speedrun strat is just kinda, yeah, go fast, just drop down immediately and rope dart, but it's so easy to miss, and yeah, you kinda lose 10 to 20 seconds with every death in that room.
Here's a pretty tough room. You take a ton of damage boosts on these moving spikes, and they can also like crush you and just kill you because you get crushed up against a wall by them. So definitely a spot to be really careful.
Yeah, don't forget that CO, because I already forgot it once. But yeah. If you forget it once, yeah, it hurts and you will never forget it again.
Yeah, these Cloud Ruin seals are really easy to miss. Especially if you haven't played Hundo a ton, then you just completely miss them and forget they exist. Which is, like Storm said, very painful, and you never do it ever again. Like, you'll see, like, a lot of this stage is similar to our first time through Cloud Ruins. Even when the rooms are 8-bit, the movement through them is going to be pretty similar. Obviously, like, a few minor differences, but yeah, nothing too different from the first time through, other than collecting these seals.
Wanted to get the teleport. Yeah, there's a teleport possible in this room here with the 4 birds, but it's kind of cursed.
Yeah, there's so many teleports in this stage, but some of them, the setup's really hard and not consistent enough that you might... It's kind of better sometimes to just opt not to go for it. Here's another one, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also pretty risky to go for because you're so much close to the spikes. But yeah, just for swag. Yeah, we already collected that seal earlier, so this part we are through. Bit of repositioning here to get the teleport. And now we are saving our little friend Acro, that's just sitting here alone by himself. And now we are making our way towards the shard grind. And also the last seal in Cloud Ruins. So we'll play this room a bit safer today. Last time doing PB attempts I died here, and you lose a lot of time if you die here. And as you can see here are 2 crystals now. And a seal if I could grab it. And what we will do now is, so we have, if we have any messages, we have a lot of time now. So we will just hit the checkpoint, go back to the menu, load the first save game. And magically, we're here again.
Sure, so let's talk about future incentives, shall we? Because the closest one right now is Ultima 9 Ascension, which is coming up later on, and that would be one of the incentives is Killed Lord British. We are right now at $297 out of $1,500 to killing Lord British as the cherry on top of the run. For the same Ultima run, we also have a language choice. The choices are Japanese, German, English, and French. Right now, Japanese is winning with $45.10, with German right behind with $25. If you want either of these options or the other two to win, make sure to pick that as your bid of choice when donating. Later today, we also have the Plum cosplay by Shigan during his Chenzo Club run, and that is standing at $967 out of 3,000. It's a big goal, but it's also a big cosplay. So hopefully we can get there, and hopefully we'll get there fast. Make sure to get your donations in. Make sure to put them towards incentives and bid wars. Thank you for all of your donations so far, and keep them coming. Keep donating to Alzheimer Fund during this wonderful ESA. Thank you.
Yeah, and as you can see, we keep grinding, so we need 3,100 shards before we can continue. And yeah, Halfling, why do we need to do this here?
Basically just because part of 100% is buying all the upgrades in the game, and one upgrade in particular, Demon's Bane, costs 2,000 shards for some reason. So that means we get to sit here for a long duration of time, just chopping away at these big time crystals. There's a few things we do to make it speed up. first you'll notice that Storms is throwing his shurikens when he's to the right of this first crystal, so that each shuriken damages each crystal once. And he's also doing something called rope dart DPS, which is also used to kill bosses fast. Basically, if you slash before a rope dart, you get essentially 2 slashes for the price of 1, because every time your rope dart connects with something, you also do damage to it. So by using the slash rope dart pattern, we're able to maximize our damage output, both on these crystals and on bosses. We're already halfway there.
Yeah, we're getting close on that late game. So after the shard grind, there's not that much coming up anymore. So I would say 20-25 minutes maybe of gameplay. Could be less, kind of depending how well some of these stages are going.
Yeah, there's really 3 stages left, and 2 of them are probably 2 of the hardest in the game. Hard and really long stages as well, like over 7 minutes. So.
Yeah, only roughly 1,100 more to go, so we're getting there.
Yeah, each time crystal gives you 65 time shards. So every entry and reload is roughly 20 seconds. So we're making just under 400 shards a minute doing this technique. So.
Yeah, unfortunately there's no other way how we could grind these shards. So this is already the kind of fastest that we found so far. But yeah, maybe it's also good because you have a short of a breather for this long category where you still need to focus a bit doing this shard grind, but it's not as much as before in the one.
Yeah. Even if you mess up, it's just like a second or 2 and you're not really in any danger of dying, which is a nice change of pace.
Could we do a donation? Meanwhile.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Can I read the donation?
Yeah, if you have one, feel free to.
Awesome. We have $5 from One-Eyed Deacon saying good luck gamers. Thank you very much. And that goes to the Elder Scrolls Skyrim creator character for Dragon Bro. Thank you.
Only 400 shards left. We're closing out on that one, and then we finally get some more action again. So especially with shard grind is one, despite the length of the speedrun, the shard grind is also a big bummer for most of the messenger speedrunners, because yeah, it's 6.5 to 7 minutes of just grinding these 2 shard crystals. I think that should be enough. I would try. Maybe we need one more. No, it's fine. Okay, we're through. So, so the last 2 upgrades we will get through the rest of the stages. So we need 500 more shards, but yeah, we still have enough of late game that we can get the money for that. So now we are going back to Autumn Hills to pick up the last seals that we haven't collected yet. And welfare today. Come on. Thank you. And yeah, also we will go towards Forlorn Temple. And if you remember from 8-bit earlier, Forlorn was that one stage where we just quickly passed by. But now we have a bridge because we saved every Phobiakin. They built us something pretty nice, and we can go past that to grab the crown of the Demon King. So this is one seal that we need to get here in Autumn Hills. And the last two seals in Autumn Hills are kind of a bit more hidden. And we need to do a bit of backtracking towards to get there, and why you will see shortly. And yeah, if you're wondering what this bluish, thing is with coming out of my sword now, this is the Demon's Bane, and it's basically doing 5 damage. And it's kind of charging up when you're not attacking. And it can be helpful in some situations. If you want to go fast, it can be a bit of a bummer sometimes, because it kills especially the turtles that we are used to do turtle boosts on too fast. Because the turtle only has 3 HP, and yeah, the Demon's Bane is killing it directly. Okay, now we go to Forlorn Temple. At least to the beginning of the stage. As you can see here, all the Phobiakins are here. There's a crystal up here that we need to grab. And we're going back to 8-bit and go back to Autumn Hills, because the seals that we need to access are only accessible in Autumn Hills. But in Autumn Hills, the amount of time portals is really restricted. So going back and forth between both of these stages is the fastest way to get into 8-bit again.
Yeah, we need to be in 8-bit to get these seals, but we also need upgrades that we don't have at this early stage in the game when we're here earlier. So it's sort of unfortunate that we have to go so far out of our way to get these, but there's really no way around it.
So this seal is easily or we can pick that up in the early game, but the next seal, or the last seal in Autumn Hills, is directly below here. And yeah, you can't reach that in the early game, and that's why we rerouted or did the route this way, so that we get both seals at once. And now do a death warp again, because then, since I skipped the checkpoint, we will come out at the end of Autumn Hills again. And we are done with Autumn Hills, so we will never see that stage again. So, Forlorn Temple, yeah. First off, we grab the crystal again, because it just respawned. Go into 16-bit, and now we have a bridge we can pass towards Forlorn Temple. And yeah, Halfling, can you elaborate a bit more why the stage is awful in itself?
It's a long stage, and it's a really difficult stage. There's tons of spikes and cycles and damage you can take. And it just, at least for me, it feels like a very claustrophobic stage. Like there's not enough space to work with. You're in these narrow corridors. So it can just be kind of hard to move fast, and it doesn't feel as fluid as stages like Glacier Peak do, right? So it's a stage where you definitely have to put in a lot of practice. Also, there's just lots of enemies that are quite annoying, like these Wizropes here. Just
yeah, the Wizrope was in the rocket. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of rockets, this stage is introducing these rockets. And yeah, they're awful. They're pretty awful. They take a long time to charge. They are slow in movement, and you need to yeah, jump out of them. So not the funniest mechanic they introduced that late into the game. Damn, I didn't want to touch the spikes, but it should be fine. And yeah, as you can see, everything just tries to kind of, yeah, smash you, smack you, and yeah. Ninjas are really in danger in this stage. So we have 2 more seals coming up. Before we get the next one, we grab this checkpoint here, switch to 16-bit, since it's only accessible in 16-bit. And to be honest, this seal room is clearly my winner in the worst seal rooms of the whole game. Because it takes a lot of time. You can't really skip that much, and it's pretty risky. And yeah, if you die here, it's you lose a lot of time. So yeah, I will play a bit more carefully in this this room here.
This room really combines all the terrible things about Forlorn that make it so easy to die there. There's spikes, there's rockets, there's crushers.
Yeah.
All
Didn't
working
need
together
animation
to kill
glitch
you.
here with the rockets, but yeah, now we take a death warp again because it's faster for us, and also we would need to change time again. Now we're here in 8-bit and can continue. Yeah, come on.
Here we're trying to do like a harder version of that Crystal Abuse and Tower of Time,
Yeah.
but we need to get higher up on the wall. It's a little bit tighter.
Damn. Okay, this is a bit bad. Yeah, missed the cycle, unfortunately. Normally you can, yeah, get through this room in a really cool cycle, but since I fell down, I missed it, but was still okay.
Meanwhile, we're almost coming up on our final seal of the game. Gotta make it through this room.
Yeah, final seal of the game. Beautiful rocket sections. Everything you like about Forlorn is built into this last seal. Yeah, little neat optimization we have here. So we are triggering the switch and try to re-grab the rocket. I think I will.
Also avoiding rockets at all costs on our way down here.
And that's the last seal. So we collected every 45 seals now, if I'm not mistaken.
You'll see our reward in a moment. Basically when we get to the next shop.
Yeah, just a couple of rooms left here in Forlorn that we need to pass. Also need to collect a little bit more of money so that we kind of reach the 500 mark. I think I'm a bit short. But I can grab a few extra lanterns here now so that we should make 500. Yeah, I think that should be enough. We get a couple more here now. Nice. Good jump.
That is Forlorn Temple.
Exactly. And now we get into the shop. And yeah, we got every seal. So we have windmill shurikens now. And we are facing off now the Demon General. One of the worst boss fights, not from a difficulty perspective, you will see shortly why.
Yeah, so this boss just keeps running away from us, and it's really hard to keep rope darting and keep reattaching, but that was a really nice fight. Storms killed him really quickly.
And yeah, this is the reason why this fight is just awful. We need to wait.
Basically, the second phase of this fight, after he turns into the giant eyeball, is an auto-scroller. There's nothing you can do to speed it up.
Yeah, there's a glitch that one of the rockets can survive, the so-called rocket glitch. But we kind of figured out how it works. Getting it working is pretty difficult because it's kind of time dependent and frame dependent. And if you get it, the chance is really high that you soft lock your game. Because basically what the rocket glitch is doing, so normally all the rockets are destroyed once the second phase of the transformation of the Demon King is triggered. But sometimes, if you have luck, you could kind of say, one of the rockets is surviving or spawning at the moment. Normally the rockets would be destroyed. And then you can grab that rocket early in the second phase, so while the demon eyeball is still doing his eyeball laser stuff. And this is triggering the rising cutscene a bit earlier, but due to that, it could lead that the game just keeps forgetting what it needs to do and you just softlock yourself. And doing that late in the run can be really brutal. Okay, so we defeated the Demon King now. We need that crown for the next part coming up. So we've finished nearly every stage of the game now, and we're going towards the right-hand side of the Tower of Time. And there's luckily a crystal where the crown just perfectly fits in. And it's background time. We are in Corrupted Future now, where we need to grab the last node that we are missing. So, Halfling, any stuff you can share about Corrupted Future?
Yeah, I mean, so this stage is basically this is the future where the demons win. So we have to use the fireflies to clear away all this corruption to be able to traverse through the stage. And they're trapped in these little crystals. One nice thing about Demon's Bane is that normally these crystals take 3 hits, but since Demon's Bane does more damage, they disappear in 1. So that's a little thing that makes it faster in 100%. But otherwise, it's kind of a lot of waiting for these fireflies to fly to their destination. So while you can optimize the stage a little bit, there's not that much you can do. You just sort of have to wait and try to rope dart at the longest range possible. There's also a cool glitch at the end of the stage that skips like a pretty long segment that you'll get to see coming up here. But
yeah, hopefully we don't
otherwise,
die.
a little breather.
Hopefully we don't die in the stage.
Yeah. There's a few like false paths in the stage that if you don't know where to go, it's sort of maze-like, but that's not really a concern for us. Now we've made it and just need to get the note.
Oh my god, I died. Damn. Yeah, luckily that was intended. So what we are abusing the death here because Corrupted Future has no checkpoints. And what we can do is we glide through the nodes and get off screen and die. To get at the start of the stage again, because then we don't need to do the chase section that is coming up against this guy here. We can just exit. So, also pretty easy to pull off casually if you don't want to do the chase. And with that, we got every node, we have every item, we have every seal, we have... No, we don't have every upgrade. I forgot to buy the upgrade. But I can do that in Music Box. So yeah, we need to visit a shop anyway in Music Box, so I can buy the last remaining upgrades. And you forgot that. But yeah, coming up now is the last stage of the run. After, yeah, over 2 hours. You can't say it's an easy stage. I think Music Box is one of the hardest stages in the game. It's even more cycle-based than Catacombs. And it's based on the music, on the beat.
Yeah, this is a really cool stage. The soundtrack's really cool, but it's very hard. The cycles are super difficult. What you will see is that Windmill's gonna come in super handy for hitting these crystals we've gotta hit. Without having to walk all the way over there, especially in the cases where Windmill goes through walls. So you'll see some cool strats with that.
But yeah, this stage is really brutal at the end of such a long category. I mean, it's the same for any percent, so Music Box is a really intimidating level.
Yeah, even if you don't die, it's so easy to just lose time if you miss out on one cycle, or just there's so much variance in your movement. If your movement isn't quite right, you can lose a lot of time and get caught up on strange walls and weird collision with these crushers.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But the music is superb in this level, so... Yeah, we'll go a bit safer here than normally. So, worst room in Music Box, Wyvern Bird. So,
this room has a really difficult strat, where you can keep the bird alive and use the cloud step you get from it to yeet all the way to the end of the room using that hook there. But the positioning to set up the bird to be in the right position is really difficult, and getting the trick depends on where in the beat of the song you enter the room. So, although it is cool to have music-based cycles, it makes doing some strats really hard to do consistently.
yeah, because we want consistency, we will visit the shop, because I need to buy the 2 last upgrades anyway that I forgot. But we are visiting the shop here to reset the music cycle, because otherwise this section of this room is pretty hard.
Yeah. There's one other spot where we're gonna do that, where resetting the cycle is actually faster because we don't have to wait on anything.
And yeah, now with the power of Windmill, we can trigger both crystals. Normally, if you don't have Windmill, you can't do it.
Yeah, Windmill really makes short work of these little puzzle rooms in Music
Damn!
Box.
Okay, that's 6.
7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, lost track of one death. But yeah, as you can see, it's very easy to die in Music Box. So, just a small mistake of a wrong warp dart and you're gone.
on the impossible.
Yeah, and also this room is impossible to... Sometimes you get through that pretty fast, and then you can't just do anything. Yeah, for this room, there's a strat by developer Assassin Naga, also shout out to Naga, really awesome speedrunner of this game, that you can pause buffer the music. Damn, I missed. Classical. There you go.
Nice.
Damn, I missed the jump. Yeah, normally with Windmill, because Windmill is giving you cloud steps, you can jump all the way towards the top and don't need to wait on the platform to rise, but to be honest, I'm not a Windmill fan. So there are people a lot better with handling the Windmill Shuriken, like Assassin Naga or Halfling. So I kinda got to deal with it in 100%, but if I can, I wanna avoid using Windmill, but you can't avoiding it in 100% because some rooms are way faster with Windmill and Music Box.
Windmill's also really used a lot in that New Game Plus speedrun that we brought up earlier. There's lots of cool strats that it allows for in that run as well. Here's another little puzzle room where you have to hit the crystals, but nothing too complicated.
Yeah,
and here's the other cycle reset.
Exactly, because this room is kinda a bit hard and impossible if you want to do it fast. We just reset the cycle and then can easily get through that room. I barely made it. Nice.
Nice. That was tight. Here's the last major room of Music Box.
Oh damn, it didn't hit the crystal. Yeah, unfortunately the range of Windmill is not that yeah, great sometimes, so could be that if your positioning is not correct, things like that can happen. But yeah, we reached the end of the run, so we are going now against Phantom. We got every upgrade, we got every item, we got all the seals, so we are ready for Phantom now.
Yeah, so this is the final boss. He is in the music box playing the music that keeps the curse going. But we don't really care, we're just gonna follow him up to the corner of this room, knock him down with his projectile, and then he's gonna sit and play his song, and we're gonna do what's called a windmill juggle. Basically, if we do little jump rope over the windmills, they just keep going through the boss over and over and over again, which is a really nice DPS method. It is possible to kill the boss before he teleports away here, but you have to be really good with your both windmill and rope dart DPS, so.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So the goal is to kill him by then. That was a really good fight.
Okay, now we have one more kind of Dragon Ball Z yeah, power ending section coming up. But we're getting on time soon, so Kira, if you can make that button ready.
Sure, I can do the thing.
Yeah, we need to do the thing. So we freed Phantom, and unfortunately the mask is still cursed and try to kill us now. So what we are doing now is we are doing the thing. So every messenger is kind of combining now into the Arcane Golem. So we're kind of doing a fusion. And now we're kind of, yeah, charging up our beam. You could think of it kind of Dragon Ball-like. And time. What was the time? 2:28. Nice.
Very good.
So, this was the messenger, 100%. Yeah, I just want to quickly say thank you for Kürter and also thank you for Halfling for joining me here on comms. Short shoutouts towards my family, my friends, I love you, and also to my sister for supporting me. Shoutouts to the whole messenger community, so the whole Bamboo crew, Space, Alpha, Belial, Grondius, etc., etc. I'm sorry if I forgot anyone. And yeah, also special shoutouts towards the DKC2 speedrunning community, to Void, to Lovebird, etc., who also helped me improve in this game with kind of mindset and growing wise. And yeah, thanks for ESA for having me and showing off this great speed game. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much for this wonderful run. 2 seconds of PB, by the way. Thank you very much, and please don't go away. We will be back soon with Skyrim right after a quick break.